So next I want to introduce from Infinite Scale, Molly Mazzolini, who will be talking about a case study of brand integration with Little Caesars Arena. Molly?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Patrick, for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be with you all. This is one of my favorite things to do, is to be in a university setting, to have a conversation, but really to open your eyes towards something that we're all very familiar with, which is going to a sport event or seeing a game and maybe even a concert in a sport facility and understanding that there's a lot of strategy and thought that goes into your experience as a fan. But not only as a fan, but maybe some of the areas that you're currently studying, like corporate partner integration, or earlier we heard from Andy about the naming rights partner deal from Avaya Stadium, and even hearing all the different things that it takes to operate a venue, and who are the tenants of that venue, and what are all the visual communications, and how are they implemented. And that's what we do at Infinite Scale, is that we help think things through on behalf of the client and working in collaboration with all of the other creative consultants to be able to create this experience. And so we're going to show that to you today through an example of Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. But before I do that, I thought what I would do is share with you a little bit about Infinite Scale, and then at the end, tell you a little bit about what we have going on. Because I think the two questions that I get asked the most often in our studio as a whole is, what do you do? And what projects are you working on now?
I don't think that's right, because he was doing interviews.
So if people say, what do you do, or who is Infinite Scale, we're basically a sport design consultancy, which is a really, really niche component of all, the sport world, if you will. And with that specific piece, it's really important to us that we are 100% sport, and that people who work on our team love sport. You'd be surprised. Sometimes we get candidates who have no idea what sport is, but they somehow are connected to it and they want to be a part of it. And I'll literally give them a homework assignment of, they'll say, how can I learn more, Molly? How can I learn more about the sport industry? Which may seem crazy for everyone in this room, whether you're a professional or a student or somewhere in between. But I literally tell them, watch SportsCenter. And that's their homework every day. When you go home at night, watch SportsCenter. So they kind of know what is, you're laughing, I know, right? But it works. So you kind of know the pulse of the sports industry, at least for starters, and then build from there. But in our world, we kick off every single meeting on Monday morning. Our team all gets together, and the first thing we talk about is what happened over the weekend that's connected to our clients. And we talk about what major milestones happened, win-loss records, big movements, whether it's on the sports business side or what happened on their field of play, because that's important for us to stay connected to all of our clients. And for us, we are Olympic leftovers. That's how we got started. In 2002, I met my two business partners, Amy Lucas and Cameron Smith. We worked for the 2002 Olympic Winter Games held in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we affectionately refer to ourselves as this, because without the Olympics, we would have never been in Salt Lake City, we would have never met each other, and we would have never formulated this methodology of collaboration, which I'll show you through the case study of Little Caesars Arena, which is how we collaborate with all of our clients. And so it was this methodology that was recognized by the International Olympic Committee as a hit. So after every games, they have a document of hits and misses. And what we found is that when we started working with the corporate partners who were a part of the Olympic movement, when we started working with their agencies and we connected the dots with the Look department, which is the internal department that designs the competition venues and the non-competition venues, what we found is that there was a spirit of collaboration. And guess what happened? They started spending more money. the corporate partners started spending more money, and the revenue grew because they wanted to invest not only sponsorship dollars, but activation dollars. And so that was hugely important for us to carry that through in our experiences of working on sport projects. So there's Amy and Cameron. We are a 2/3 women-owned business. We're nationally certified as a WBENC, which is a Women's Business Enterprise National Council. And that's something that is very helpful sometimes, in that a lot of projects have to have a certain percentage in terms of women-owned business, minority-owned businesses. It's also referred to on some documents as disadvantage, but we don't see it as a disadvantage at all. So our world and our mantra is designed for sport. About 5 years ago, we made the decision to cap all of our non-sport projects. We were participating in the non-sport world because we wanted to contribute more to our local community. But what we found is that our work is better when it's more comprehensive and when we can scale up and work on different venue types and different event types. So that's why we went all in for the Design for Sport piece. We have worked on over 100 venues and events within the sport industry, so all sport types, all venue types. And just to give you a quick glimpse of what that is, so you can see that kind of a quick breakdown here. And our HQ is in Salt Lake City, but we also have a satellite office in Cincinnati as well. So about 30 team members for us. Just to give you an example of some of the clients that we have worked with, some collegiate, some professional, and also just a quick background. I basically started in the sports industry in 1995 when I was an intern for the 1996 Summer Games in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's really unusual for somebody to have a Summer Games and a Winter Games in their background, and I'm honored to have both. It's definitely something that is heart and soul to kind of be able to be a part of an Olympic movement. And some people say it's insane too, because the hours are long and crazy, but it actually prepared me for work in the sports industry and the love for it. And it's something that is definitely passionate between myself and my two business partners. I've also have a background on the university side of things, working as a sport information director. So that is the person in an athletics department that's the go-between a coach and a team and the media. And it's this perfect blend of marketing and public relations and community relations that has really provided a platform for the way that we treat our clients, and that it's a super high level of customer service. And it also helped me understand and help me educate our team the importance of fact checking, because you don't ever want to be in a situation where maybe there's a presentation to a client and there's a glaring error. And I'll never forget, we were in a presentation, actually you're going to hear from Brian Racken about, Brian's from the Populous team, and it was a design competition that they invited us to with the New York Yankees on their new stadium. And one of the senior members of management came in and he's like, "What's this?" "It's page 87. And it was like this huge proposal document and presentation that we had for him. He's like, "That guy's not on our team." And we said, "Yes, sir, but it's in the heritage section. He was on your team and he was a part of a major moment." And he went, "Okay." But we had that justification because we fact-checked every single detail in that proposal. But at first he was upset because he thought we were representing the current team. But in fact, it was the heritage piece. So those things kind of learned in your past and what you have been a part of and experienced and worked really hard at always come back to help influence where you are today, which is so important. So with Infinite Scale, going back to this, and the creative council piece is our collaboration in the world of sport. So we kind of straddle this strategy side and creative side. And that's in terms of what we do and how we work in collaboration with our client. So it is that blend of results and translating that through graphic design into the built environment. And so let's show you that through Little Caesars Arena. So this just opened up in fall 2017, so 1 year old. It is the home of two teams, so the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Pistons. And I thought I'd give you a little highlight by showing you a 2-minute video, so it's almost like I'm taking you there.
People often ask us what we do. It's complicated. Take, for example, Little Caesars Arena in the heart of Detroit. We got inspired by the city, its culture, and the fans and teams who call it home. We collaborated with the owner, architects, engineers, venue operations, concessionaires, and retailers to design a unique fan experience and venue that became the pulse of downtown, Little Caesars Arena. The arena was envisioned as part of a world-class entertainment district and mixed-use development in a city that has a lot of history to honor and is determined to create even more. The owner of the Red Wings and Little Caesars Pizza originally asked us to develop a naming rights partner identity, but soon realized we could do more. Infinite Scale touched every aspect of this project, from the smallest detail to the largest application. Our collaborative approach, what we call the Creative Council, brings together internal groups with outside consultants so that all stakeholders have a voice. The result? A holistic fan experience that's unrivaled in the history of sports architecture. Inspiration became action. Action yielded results. Results produced wins. And after 2 years of collaboration, the teamwork paid off. Little Caesars Arena is the Sport Business Journal's 2018 Sport Venue of the Year. That's what we do.
So you just saw the world premiere of this video that we've been working on really hard. It's just like your own little film festival, right? So how did we get started? This really was a 2-year project, and the first thing that we did was we had the honor of designing the naming rights partner logo. So the two key decision makers were Chris Illich, who owns Illich Sport and Entertainment, as well as Dave Scrivano of Little Caesars, the CEO of Little Caesars. And what some of you may or may not know is that the Illich family actually owns Little Caesars. And it was those $5 pizzas that basically built up enough fundage to be able to design and build a beautiful brand new arena that is the heart of Detroit and basically the rebuilding of Detroit. And if you all ever have the opportunity to go, even just a tour, if not maybe to even see an event, it really is a new way of experiencing sport and entertainment. And how we started was the Little Caesars Arena logo and creating these graphic guidelines to help them implement it. All the departments that may have to use the logo, or all of the consultants that they're working with, like even down to the seats and the embroidery of this logo. We had to make sure that this would look good on signage, it would look good in 2D and 3D, it would look good small on uniforms, embroidered, and huge on the roof. Did you see that roof graphic? It was insane. I mean, they used GPS to be able to paint on that roof graphic into the membrane. It's just so much fun to be able to see that that is the world's largest Little Caesar that is on top of that roof. And where do we also begin is thinking through the fans' experience when you arrive on site, and how you start from your arrival experience and go to and through this arena. Now, one of their number one problems and challenges is that if you notice on a broadcast, a lot of the seats are empty. Well, the house is full, but people are exploring the arena, and that's why those seats are empty. And so they're sold out, but they're out walking around and experiencing everything from, for example, this Meyer entry gate, when you walk inside, there's this activation area that's a dedication to their corporate partnership with both teams. And what's great is, and what we tried to do when we were working in collaboration with all these corporate partners, is not just to have something that's sitting at the gate that's Meyer only, but that it integrates both teams. And so people feel a part of that, and they can experience this only at this place versus any Arena USA, right? And with that piece, thinking through Chevrolets and what's different to them, what's unique to them, what brand attributes and assets do they want to help implement, and what can they do that's different, especially since they're based in Detroit. And one of the cool things that they did is they actually worked with, these are all car parts that made up the Red Wing. And they worked in collaboration with an artist. We worked in collaboration with that artist as well to ensure the placement and the programming, and that it all comes together, part of your experience of going through it. Comerica, every single corporate partner had a different message that they wanted to get out to represent their brand, but also to showcase the association and the partnership with the teams involved, and to also represent downtown as well. So you can see that Huntington not only had an entry experience, but they also have a club as well. And so this is their Legends Club, and it's done in collaboration where you walk through this portal, this portal on the right-hand side, what you see, hold on. Oh, sorry. There we go. So what you see on the right-hand side is one team. So this is the Red Wing side, and then when you flip and walk back, you see the Piston side, which is really cool. So we had to incorporate both teams into most of these spaces. The Ryman Club, with this particular piece, we wanted to celebrate major milestones. And how do we do that knowing that one of their, the kind of most premium spaces, so you can see that these spaces are connective to the clients who are going to be experiencing the games and concerts within this space. And so we're thinking through all of these different pieces and working in collaboration with not only the corporate partners, but all of the internal departments, both teams, and ensuring that it works both on the function side and the fashion side. And then we also have the heritage applications. So the corporate partnership piece, the team brand integration, and then the heritage. And that's connected with the culture. It's connected with Detroit. It's connected with, in this case, Joe Louis Arena, where they brought in the actual bench and they brought it over. So you can go and sit on the bench and have your picture taken, and it is the real bench. So people love that, and they love those photo opportunities because it's interactive and it makes them feel a part of it. And the heritage applications, this VIA experience, if you will, allows people to understand the importance of music and obviously Motown and the connectivity to some of the great performances that have happened in Detroit, in these Illich-owned venues, and they've had several throughout, and even carrying that through to the exterior component as well. There was so much to tell, but it's done in a very comprehensive and cohesive way because we started with programming, then we worked into conceptual development of the design to make sure that there was an overarching theme for the entire venue experience and that everything was placed nicely and neatly and there weren't any surprises, right? But it's also something that if there was contingency, we could plan for that as well. But we also wanted to ensure that every experience was representative of what the Illich family wanted, not only from the naming rights partner component, but also from the team experiences as well. So in addition to being an arena, there is also the training facility. This training facility is for the Red Wings, but it is also for their hockey league program. So there is a Little Caesars Hockey League, and this facility has its own separate entrance, but it is a part of the building as well. So that was something that was a part of our design process as we were thinking it through, and to be able to find a place for, these are the banners from the rafters in Joe Louis Arena, old school felt banners. They wanted a place for them, and they wanted to ensure that they could be used and repurposed. And so that was a huge component of this practice facility in terms of that brand integration piece, and the naming rights partnership component as well, where they worked in collaboration with Belfour. And then finally, wayfinding. How do people find their way to and through a venue? You want to make sure that it is absolutely intuitive and that people can find their way. And in this case, we decided to use a portal system. So people knew what portal to enter. So when you're working with guest services, as soon as you walked in, they ask you, do you know where your portal is? Do you know what your portal number is? And they would help you find your way by asking that one simple question. But it also helps you find amenities as well, and it connects to the smartphone piece. So it seems like something that's really simple and easy to do, but it is something that is extremely integrated and intuitive to create an inclusive experience for you as a guest and a patron. And concessions. Obviously, having concessions with Little Caesars as your naming rights partner is hugely important. But what is the other food experience, and how does it integrate into the food culture, right, and the local flavors, literally, of Detroit? And so that is something that, working in collaboration with the food services provider, that we helped in terms of creating an identity for that. And basically, at the end of the day, creating this comprehensive experience, working in collaboration with creative consultants, with the teams, with the ownership group, that provides a really new way of experiencing sport, but also how it affects the community, how it pulls people together, and how it creates this amazing experience as, for you, something to think about in your future moving forward, because it does affect probably every single one of the areas and or departments and or companies where you want to work in the future, or where you may work now. So with that, I'll quickly close with on the boards. These are some of the things that we are currently working on. We are working with, we have the honor of working with the Lacob family on the new Chase Center and in San Francisco, where our role is similar in terms of the comprehensive look at the brand integration and all of the visual communications. We also are working on Enterprise Center, and you're going to hear from Alex Rodrigo in a minute about literally the amazing renovation and how it's affecting your local community here. And that's been a truly phenomenal experience. And talk about collaboration, that's exactly what their organization is about. Pac-12 football championship game. So they started this in 2011, and they came to us and they said, hey, we want a new look. We want to know what, how we can create a new look and implement that into these stadiums that already are the home of, in this particular case and where it's going to be held, Levi's Stadium, right? So we cover up 49ers and it becomes the home of the Pac-12 football championship game. And the Winter Classic. So we work very closely with the NHL. We're going to put a hockey rink over the football stadium, the football field, and create a one-day experience where the decor goes up for that event and then comes back down again. And CFP, the College Football Playoff National Championship game. Earlier this year, it was in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium where the Falcons play, and then it will be at Levi's Stadium, home of the 49ers. And NHL All-Star Weekend. This was recently announced. It will be in San Jose. And we've been working with the NHL for probably close to 9 years now on their stadium series, their All-Star games. And actually, this will be our first Winter Classic, so we're extremely excited about that. And with that, I invite you all to follow us. I'd love to stay in touch with all of you. To those who reached out in LinkedIn, I'm super proud of you for doing that. because I love to see where you go and grow in your careers. And I will be spending some time across the hall this afternoon if you'd like to ask questions or speak with me further. And again, absolutely honored to be here, and thank you so much for having me, and good luck to all of you in all of your sport experiences. Thank you.